Hello, my name's Chris. Thank you for watching today's video and welcome to my channel. I just briefly wanted to go over something with you that I thought would be really cool and perhaps many of you would really enjoy. I've been inspired. A lot of times I get comments from people from all over the world, and I just thought like how cool it would be if we could see pictures of people's ponds from all over the world, right? We can learn about what a pond looks like in different countries and the whole bit. I thought it would be just a great idea. So I just recently set up a new page on my website. My website's pondscapesandmore.com, where it's titled Ponds Around the World. And I was hoping that some of you can participate and send me a picture with just a brief description of your pond, and I can post it on that page for everybody to enjoy. And I just thought it would be something really cool. I know locally here by me, we do have like a pond club, a koi club, and they do garden pond tours and people go to see everybody's pond. But how cool would it be to see pictures of people's ponds from different parts of the world, right? So whether you're from the US or Germany or England or Taiwan, wherever, we would love to share your pond and see pictures of what your pond looks like. So if you're interested in participate, please send me those pictures at jspondscapes@gmail.com. And I will post everything up on my website. And hopefully that could be a really cool experience for all of us. So thank you very much, and we'll get on with today's video. Hello everyone, thanks for checking out today's video. Welcome to my channel, Jersey Shore Pondscapes Videos. My name is Chris. We usually talk all about koi ponds and waterfalls, water gardens, aquatic plants, fish, pond filtration, that whole bit. But we're doing something a little bit different here. This is my fourth video in a series of 5 about feeding and attracting wild birds. So today's video is going to be all about different types of bird feeders. And I just did a video about different types of food in my last video. So today we're going to talk about the different types of feeders that food can go into, and what might be a little more appropriate for different types of foods, different types of birds. Okay? So we're going to dive right on in here. I have a whole feeder system, basically with 4 arms on it, a big squirrel baffle, and I have 4 different feeders out on that little system right there. There's a variety of different types of birds that come in there. I have a specialty feeder that's very similar to this one here, that I fill up with a Niger, the thistle food, specifically for goldfinches. They love it. I get goldfinches on there, I get house finches, purple finches, and occasionally, you know, something else tries to get in here. But the goldfinches and house finches especially love that Niger seed. So we fill that up. The only thing is sometimes those are specialty feeders because they have very small little holes here where the birds perch and eat the food. They're very small holes so that all that tiny little seed doesn't come falling out. And they have no problem, you know, getting into those little holes and pulling the seed out. There's also a type of like a mesh, a small mesh wire feeder that sometimes they don't even have perches. It's just a mesh feeder, and the birds literally fly and just cling right onto the mesh and just eat all the seed, and they love it. And I get like a number of goldfinches on there at one time. So those are definitely great if you're looking to attract, you know, goldfinches or other kind of finches in your yard. Absolutely. But make sure you use that thistle, the Niger seed, and a specialty feeder, you know, with the small little holes to pull that seed out. Otherwise, it's all just going to come out. All right. I also have just a basic, it's just, I call it a bell. It's just got a dome on the top with a simple tray on the bottom. Now, I fill that up with the black oil sunflower seeds. Very simple, okay? But it's a great feeder simply because it holds a lot of seed. It's easy for the birds access in and out. It has a dome, a cover to protect it from the rain and snow. And it has drain holes in the bottom of the tray. So if any water does get into it, it can drain out. That's really important in a lot of feeders, that they do have drain holes in the bottom that, any moisture or water can drip out of it, okay? But that's a very simple feeder it's a favorite. The birds are on it all the time. It's easy to refill. It's easy to clean, right? It's just plain and simple. Now, I prefer that to something like, I guess I call it a tray feeder, or simply just a tray that might have little wire handles on it, to hang it up, but it's just an open tray. And that's great too, because all the birds just fly right in there and eat. But it's exposed to all the weather as well. Okay, so they're popular, they're cheaper, they're good, all right. But I wouldn't put a lot of food in those, simply because you don't want that food to sit in there for like a week, in the rain and snow and everything else and the bad weather. Maybe just put a little bit in at a time, and the birds eat it all, and then you can kind of play it by ear. If it's a nice sunny day, you put your seed in there. If it's going to be rainy and nasty, maybe not. Just a suggestion, just my own personal thoughts on that. Now, on my feeder system, I also have a feeder that has a little dome cover on it, and it's kind of unique as that the area in the middle that holds the seed is divided in half. And it's really kind of a cool feeder because one side has a larger mesh enclosure and holding the seed in, and the other side has a small mesh that holds the seed in. So two different types of seed can be used in there. In the side that's smaller, I put safflower seed in. In the side that's bigger, I put like a fruit and nut mix in. So it's kind of cool because it offers two different types of seed, and the mesh is fitted according to adapt to different types of seed. So it's cool to be able to do that. I really do like that feeder. Although I gotta say the safflower seed is not the most popular. That feeder is usually, half of the safflower seed is gone and the fruit and nut mix is completely gone. All right. So, but it offers, you can throw in it whatever you want, right? You can put peanuts in one side and maybe sunflower seeds in the other. Whatever you like. From there, I have basically, I guess I forgot the exact name of it, but it looks like a little house, all right? And then on the side of the house, there's two holders for suet, two little suet cakes on the side. And it's like a little tray feeder, but it kind of has that little cover off of it so the rain can go off the sides. And you simply open, one half of the roof opens up, and there's two plexiglass, little pieces in there where you fill up your seed. And it's really nice because, the seed stays dry. You can see how much is left in the feeder when you need to refill it. And as the birds eat it all from the tray on the bottom, the seed continually just slowly comes down out of the plexiglass and out onto the tray. So as they eat it and they dig through it, more seed comes out. So it's nice. I've always had a feeder like that, and they definitely seem to enjoy that. From there, I have just a small hanging feeder that has that larger metal mesh on it that I like to fill up with the whole shelled peanuts. That's a favorite of a lot of birds. But it's really nice because this one does have perches on it, but some of them do not. So the birds would literally just come and stick right onto the mesh, you know, and peck away. They peck away at the seeds inside, or you know, whatever you put in it. But I put peanuts in it. The peanuts are large enough that they don't fall out of the holes, and the birds can't just come up and take a peanut out and fly away. Because the peanuts are a little more expensive, right? So it's kind of nice that nothing goes to waste, and it takes them a little longer to eat it. They literally have to sit there and peck through the mesh and break the peanuts up and eat a little bit at a time. Now, there is some mess from that on the ground underneath it, but the birds go down there and they eat it as well, right? So that's a really cool thing. Now, you can put, you know, any kind of larger seed in that. Just keep in mind, right, it's a larger mesh, so small, fine little seed is going to fall right through. Now, the other thing I kind of want to get into real quick is suet cakes. There are certain feeders specifically for the suet. I like the ones where it's a closed-in cage where the top comes off and you can put like 1 or 2 cakes down inside, and the top just goes back on, and then sometimes they have like I want to call it like a paddle underneath it, or an extension of the wood underneath it for the woodpeckers that love this suet. So when they perch, they grab onto the wire cage to eat the suet through it. Their tails, they use their tails against that paddle in the bottom to kind of help support them and hold them, you know, steady. And then they just peck away at it, and they love the suet. Woodpeckers, nuthatches, blue jays, starlings love it, but a lot of different birds do that. Now, these suet feeders are nice simply because it's in a closed cage, okay? Sometimes larger birds, or if squirrels can get in it, they can pull it out and just take it, okay? The feeder that I have here, this little house feeder that has the 2 suet cakes on the side, I don't seem to have a problem with that simply because it is a squirrel-proof pole, so the squirrels can't get up there to get at the suet. So I just have birds pecking away at it, so I don't need it closed up. But I do like those hanging suet feeders, you know, that do close. You can put 2 cakes in there, one on top of the other, and it lasts a long time, and the birds just love it. Now, there's also another option with that, and you can just buy a small cage like this. Very simple. It opens up, all right? You put your suet cake in here. This is an example of one, all right? Obviously you take it out of the plastic, the wrapper, but it just goes in there, and then this closes. And you know, the birds just perch on this thing, and it has a hook if you want to hang it. You can hang it, you can tie it up on the pole, you can tie it to another feeder. There's a lot of things you can do with it. I even see there are some suet feeders that hang upside down, and the birds have to access it from the bottom. The advantage of that is the woodpeckers and nuthatches that love these things, you might only want to feed the woodpeckers and nuthatches and not all the other birds that want to eat this. So sometimes to have a suet cake out for all the birds to eat, and then another suet cake in one of these houses that's upside down for just the woodpeckers, works great, because no other birds are going to go upside down and hang on this thing and peck at this from underneath. But the woodpeckers, nuthatches have no problem. All right. But these little cages, they're simple. They're like $2 or something, for the little cage. It's really simple. You can add them. You can tie them onto a tree. You can tie them onto the pole of your feeders. You can do anything you want with these things. So it's a nice little option. All right. Now, from there, all right, we're going to get into Baltimore Orioles. So orioles, they're beautiful birds. They're so cool to have around. Um, they are attracted to something totally different. All right, they really are not going to eat the seed very much in your feeders. That's not what's going to attract them. They love the color orange. Okay, now a simple little feeder like this is cheap. All right, this one I bought is cheap. It literally was like, I don't know, $12, $15 or something. All right, but it works. And this is actually a pretty nice feeder. While it's just a cheap plastic, um, it's actually got a lot to offer. Now there are feeders similar to this that are, definitely more expensive and built a lot better and are going to last a lot longer. But I like this one. Basically, what this feeder has is it has these little spikes here on the ends that you can put oranges on. Okay, usually you cut an orange in half, cut it into quarters, a third, however you want to do it, and you stick it down on these things. Orioles love to eat fresh oranges. Okay, so you slice them open, you put them up on here. Now this also has these little trays inside here. There's 3 little cups like this. It's small. Again, a bigger, more expensive feeder, you're going to get a bigger cup. But these little cups can be used for a special kind of jelly, a wild berry jelly that you can buy for the orioles that they love it. All right. A lot of other birds like it too, but the orioles definitely love it. So you get these nice little cups. And these are easy, right? It's easy to take this out and clean it. It's small, you're going to refill them a lot, but it's small and it's easy to do. So there's 3 of them in here. Now the other nice thing with this feeder is it has a bowl here on the bottom that you fill with nectar, okay? A sugar-water mixture that the orioles love as well. And there's 3 holes here in the top of the feeder that have a special little rubber thing that's called like I forgot what they call it, like a bee guard, okay? That stops bees from getting in, because the bees are going to love that sugar water too, but they can't get in there. So it's nice that it has the protection, the bee guards. It holds nectar. It can hold the jelly and oranges. All right. Now, sometimes what I've done once in the past with another Oriole feeder is I had 2 cups. I would fit 1 cup of jelly, and the other cup I put mealworms in. All right. They love the mealworms. The thing is, the mealworms are a little more expensive. I mean, you can buy a bag of, it's got a lot of them in there, but all the birds love that stuff, and they devour those things. So they disappear quickly. So, putting them out there for the orioles, I wouldn't do it unless you know you have orioles at the feeder a lot. Okay, if you have them coming and you know the orioles are the ones that are going to be eating it, then you can put the mealworms out there. Again, that's just my opinion and what I've done. But orioles definitely prefer different food, and specific stuff, and orange colors. They are attracted to the orange colors. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about real quickly are hummingbirds. Okay, hummingbirds too. They are not going to eat seed. They're not going to go to your feeders at all, ever. All right, I've never had hummingbirds. They buzz around it because they're like, what the heck is this? But they're not going to eat the seed. They love the nectar too. Now for orioles, the nectar sugar water mixture basically that you want to put in there is, I use 1.5 cups of water to 1/4 cup of sugar. Dissolve it, mix it up, put it out there, okay, and they will like that. Or hummingbirds, a little bit different. It's a 4-to-1 mixture. 1 cup of water, 1/4 cup of sugar. They love it. You don't have to buy any of the special little mixes and stuff in the store with the red dyes in it. Don't do all that. It's ridiculous. 1/4 cup of sugar to 1 cup of water. Mix it up, put it in the feeder here. They love it. Okay, they'll be at, I mean, they're at my hummingbird feeders. Like this one is a favorite. They love this thing. They are at this all summer long. 3, 4, 5 coming around at a time. Of course, only one will feed at a time. Sometimes two, but usually only one because they're very territorial and they chase each other around. But very cheap, very easy to do, and they love it. All right, I have this feeder, and I have this one here. Okay, very similar, a little more fancy. Now the thing with these feeders, and this Oriole feeder too, they have what's called an ant moat. All right, so the hummingbird feeders and the Oriole feeders that you're going to put this sugar water mixture in, you know, not only the bees love it, but the ants love it. Okay, so the ants, you know, could actually find their way up the little pole and come down into the little feeder and then want to come down into the water. All right, but this little cup on the top, this holds water. And when this is hanging up here, there's no way for the ants to come down this hook and get down onto your feeder because they have to go through the water first, and they can't, and they won't. All right, so having that little ant moat is a really nice little, you know, extra piece. Now this one has it separate, okay, but it comes with it. So definitely you want to get a hummingbird feeder with a little ant moat. This feeder here doesn't appear to have one, but it does, because the actual top of this feeder, okay, is a little basin. It's a little bowl, and you put your water on top of that. So when you hang this, again, the top is all covered with water, and then the ants don't come down the sides. This feeder here actually has, where the little pole goes right down through the middle, it actually has the ant moat right in the middle. And the nectar, you know, the sugar water mixture is separate. So water goes in the middle here, and then you have no problems with the ants. And the ants can't get from the pole into the jelly or the nectar. All right? So really cool. All right, this feeder here, you know, this is just a cheap feeder, but I wanted to show you this because this is kind of nice simply because this has ports on here that are, you can spin them around. So when it's open like this, it's a larger port for bigger seed. You can spin this around, and the bottom half just has the little slice for the Niger seed. So it's kind of a cool feeder because you can use it different ways. You can put the Niger seed in it when you turn these ports around, or you can flip it over and you have a bigger hole here and you can put larger normal seed in. Okay? Yeah, I think that covers a lot. So there's one other thing I want to talk about is squirrel-proof feeders. Squirrel-proof feeders, to me, well, for me, I think they're a waste of money. They work. Yeah, absolutely, they work. Most of them are very good. They'll keep the squirrels out. I just don't see paying 3 or 4 times more for a feeder that's squirrel-proof than a normal feeder. I have bought a pole system, you know, like this whole pole with all the hooks on it, that has a squirrel baffle on it. The squirrels cannot get up this pole. So while I've invested more into the pole system with the squirrel baffle, okay, like it definitely costs more than like a shepherd's hook or something, okay? I mean, they're over $100. You can spend between $100 and $200 for these systems. There's a lot of advantages to it. Number one, it's solid. It's built out of heavier materials. It's a more durable system. You're going to have it for many, many years. You can put more weight on it. You know, it's just stronger. But it will not allow the squirrels, raccoons, possums, anything else from climbing up this pole and getting into your feeders. Absolutely works, 100%. Okay, and never have squirrels up in my feeders. So for that reason, then I can just buy whatever feeder I want, a cheaper feeder. I don't have to buy these special squirrel guards, squirrel baffles and all this stuff and pay 4 times more for the bird feeder. Okay? Put it into the pole, put it into a squirrel baffle, get a nice sturdy system. It's not going to blow over in a wind. It's not going to fall down. It's not going to rust in a year's time. It's going to last you a long time. You know, you spend extra money on the pole and the whole system, but it's cheaper than buying all these squirrel-proof feeders. You know, the bad thing with the squirrels, it's not the fact that they eat the seed, but they chase a lot of the birds away while they're up there. But they can cause a lot of damage. All right, they can knock the feeders off the poles. They can knock them down. They fall. They break. All right, now you know it's broken. Now you got to go buy another one. So it can cost you a lot of money like that. So you know, squirrel-proof feeders are great if you don't have the option of putting in a nice system like like this with the squirrel baffle. You know, if you're hanging your feeders from a tree branch, then yeah, then you got to put in something with a squirrel baffle. Otherwise, the squirrels are going to be in it constantly. You know, if you're just using a plain shepherd's hook with something, you know, the squirrels are going to get in there. Okay? They can jump out of the tree branches and onto your feeders. They can jump from the ground and climb the poles. They can do all kinds of stuff. So squirrel-proof feeders work, but they're a lot more expensive, and I just don't see it. I don't want it. You know, just me personally, I prefer to put up the whole system. The squirrels can't climb up it, and I got no worries. And I can buy whatever feeders I want, put whatever food in them I want, and I don't have any issues. All right? So, yeah, all right. So thank you for watching. I hope, you know, you're enjoying this little series on feeding and attracting the wild birds. Hopefully it helps you out. It's something that I enjoy, so I wanted to give it a shot. So thank you very much for watching. We will get back to the pond stuff, I promise. But we're just taking a little side road here and exploring something a little bit different. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you back again soon. Take care. Bye.